Okay, welcome back, guys, to another edition by Sal Cosentino, um, in production by INC Squared. I am your systems architect and trainer, IT professional uh, for this duration of the video. Before we get started, welcome. Thanks for joining me. If you guys followed my other videos, thank you. And if you didn't, shame on you. Go ahead and touch base, like and subscribe them, watch them. Um, Again, watch how we create um, environments and learn for when you go out in the job field. So learning how to create these specific things with me, and then applying them in the real world scenarios, and when you're being asked in interviews and stuff. So just kind of understand how things work. In today's topic, we're going to be talking about WDAG account. What is it? Um, so again, we talk about specific things like net user, what it is, what it is, oops, what it is, and the different accounts, the different accounts that are created within our environments, right? So um, when we're looking at the specific accounts, you can go to sys, DMSOC, CPL, right? Uh, you know, right? You have your user profiles, right? Users. We're talking about users here, network users. Uh, 1 second. Right? So you have your specific users. Again, change the types, profiles, roaming profiles, local profiles. But it's not just about the roaming and local profiles. It's about the account, um, the accounts that we create as users in this local system. So we have our local account administrator, we have the local users, and we have our whatnot. So in as a network user, we typically, you know, have default accounts, and then there's accounts that we create out of the box. With out of the box experience when we're installing operating system. So when we're creating this for a specific local account, we have our administrators, we have our default accounts, our guests, our C, our user accounts or admins, right? So my two admins, right? This is sort of like our backup admins or user profiles that I created throughout previous sessions. And we also have something called the WDAG utility account. Again, what is that? Right? A lot of people are like, oh, what is that? What are all these accounts? You have your administrator. Well, these are just specific accounts that you use that when we log in, we create those user profiles, right? So we're creating those user profiles, and within those user profiles, we're storing settings for the desktop, like other information that's related to your user account. So when we create these different profiles on each computer we can use, we can select different profiles like roaming profile, like the different types of that you have, the local profiles, right? Different versions like .v2 of a version, .v3 of a version, .v4 of a version. And again, that's a totally different topic, right? So so when the like for example, when you have an unknown account that logs into the computer, should we use operating systems? Should we use roaming profiles or just locally cached copies of the roaming profile? But again, this is totally different than what the account WDAG utility account is and what it's meant for, right? So when we look at these specific things, we come into we try to understand that yes, there are multiple user accounts built into Windows, and the WDAG utility account is one of them. A WDJ utility account is a part of a Windows Defender application guard, right? But what is that? Okay, it stands for Windows Defender application guard. What is Windows Defender application? What is the Windows Defender? So in our computers, yeah, we do have something called Windows Defender, right? Windows security as part of our security features, right? So, we right, we tend to avoid these specific things, especially when we're account we're let me close that. I don't need that anymore. But we're avoiding the fact that, hey, these accounts are are visible to the local user, right? So, we're right. I think I spelled that wrong, but I think I spelled that wrong. L user manager tools. There you go. So, like I said, we tend to forget what these are, right, and what they're used for, right. So again, when we're creating these local users, right, we tend to understand that, hey, these are created by default, except for SCAdmin, which is what I created, a copy of my administrator account. And then we also have our Toronto admin, which is another local user profile that I created that was also admin. Again, it doesn't matter why they're there and why I created two, but again, I created these profiles as part of our labs and as our testing. And again, they're there for that specific reason. Right. We also have our groups, and what groups the groups that we create, right? So these specific groups are created based on their specific role and what it does and what they're there for and why they're there for, right? So again, with a description, right, and what it does. So looking back at the WDA account, this is a user account managed, and it's always disabled. We notice. So you notice the little black spot. So notice that it's disabled, right? So again, this is a user account managed and used by a system for Windows Defender application guard scenarios. And I'm sure some of you guys have or haven't heard about it, but again, you know, the Windows Defender application guard or WDAG remains disabled until the application guard is enabled. But again, hey, what is the application guard and why is it disabled and why should we enable it on our system? Again, Windows has multiple built-in systems, like I said before, right? So that account is one of them. Fair enough, easy, right? It's part of a specific membership, which is not, and it has its specific profiles if we need it. But what is it? What do we need it for? It is a sandbox. It's like a sandbox. It's a virtual environment for Microsoft Edge. This is Microsoft Edge, by the way. Right. So when it's active, we can safely surf the web in a new session without any fear of ransomware or other threats. So for all you other tech gurus out there, it's a called in private window. With me? So so you have to kind of understand, you know, what it is and why it's there and what Microsoft wants to, why did they put it there. So again, you can read up on this stuff here. What people could see about my browsing and what people use about in private tabs and how they use it and what they're used for, what data collected, and how you can control tracking preventions when browsing. Again, you guys can read this on your own time. You just got to open up Edge. Everybody has a copy of Edge. Open up a new tab, and then do your search if you need to. Again, it searches with Microsoft Bing, so it's strictly a Microsoft product. So requirements, what do we need, like how do we get it, right? So some people found that this option is grayed out. Well, okay, that's great, but Windows Defender application guard has some strict requirements, so some can't use it. Remember that some can't use it, so yeah, and it has to be a secure account. So again, it only works on Windows 10 Pro or Enterprise, so from 1709 or newer, or Enterprise 1803 and newer. It only works on 64-bit architectures. If we are deciding to enable this in our Hyper-V environments, and again, I have other classes on that, we must enable it in our BIOS. Okay, so we need to enable it in our BIOS. Going to settings, right? Processor, and we've enabled it in our BIOS, okay? For laptops, again, you have to press your specific function key and again, visit the vendor's website for how to enter the .bios and whatnot on your specific laptops if you are following along today. So application guard is off by default, right? So, okay, fine. What's application guard, right? So what we do is um, we turn on the Windows feature, and by default is it's usually unchecked. But again, this is the area where we find it. So again, it must be turned on. So we need to turn this on in order to get this function to work. Our laptops or virtual machines should have a minimum of 8 GB of RAM, 5 GB free disk space, and SSD disk required. It all depends on the architecture, and it might change on your specific requirements and reasoning for that. So we also have our advantages and disadvantages. Okay, so we have the advantages of WDAG, and we have our disadvantages. So it improves security. So running potentially dangerous applications or opening up suspicious websites in an isolated environment, right, can better contain threats and reduce the risk of malware infection. So we want to reduce the risk of malware infections. So when you're browsing on a Google Chrome platform or Microsoft Edge, or you're running the risk of clicking on advertisements and clicking on this and not knowing what the settings are, not knowing what the security features are on Google. So, it's this here reduces the risk of malware infections. But why do we have it turned off? We also have a part of our privacy protection, right? What is the privacy protection? So since our WDAG utility account is isolated, our data generated during the browsing sessions or application execution is stored in the isolated environment and discarded. Here, let me see if you guys can follow along here. I want you guys to follow along. So, we want you to um, protect the user's privacy. So reduce the risk of malware infections, very important, and protect the user's privacy. Very, very, very important. We also talk about increased reliability. So potentially separating potentially dangerous applications or websites from other parts of the system can improve the overall stability and reliability of the system. So reduce the risk of malware infections, protect the user's privacy, and improve the overall stability and reliability of the systems. Fair enough. So now we also have its, again, with its advantages, applications and things have disadvantages. What? Okay. So it's a good thing. It reduces the risk. So what do we hate about it? So it produces performance loss. That's one of the options. And so again, running an application or browsing the internet in a isolated environment may add additional resources. So if you do open up a web browser, each tab that you have opened up increases the RAM of memory, physical memory that you're using on your laptop. What do you mean? Okay, so if you open up your task manager and we look at our specific apps, right? And we expand those. These are the specific apps out of the 13 that I have open up. So each app here um, creates memory, right? For each app that you open. So, right? And the longer you keep it open and the more other websites that you log into, um, and again, we can open up a file location as to where its edge is open. So this will open up the file location of Edge, right? So we know where that is. And then we'll also open up, I also want to show you the task manager, which is another great option. And I want to show you the details. Oh, sorry, wrong virtual machine here. So I also want to show you the details and the specific things that we can use to run. So we can select columns such as, again, very important columns. such as enterprise context and operating system context and command line for, and this works for our Intune subscribers and our Intune platforms and our MECM platforms like enterprise context. So what is that? Why do we need it? What's it for? Noting the enterprise context is part of, it's an application. Again, this is part of the Intune platform. And I'll explain what that means because that'll be part of our Intune platform when we talk about uh, app protection policies. Oh, okay. So app protection policies, great. What is that? With enrollment, like again, we can create these specific app protection policies and give it specific uh, advanced settings, right? And set the settings to what we want it to, and give it that network perimeter, and edit the assignments that we want to give the assignments to, and target the apps that we need to, right? So segmenting and segregating those assignments into a work or school profile, or a profile, which is work or school, or personal. So we have your personal and we have your work or school profiles, right? So again, that's something that, is similar to what our Defender app policies are. So these are specific things that we can do, right? So in our Windows 10 and Windows 11 application protection policies, we have our WDAGs, similar to that, but again, it's just when we're creating those app protection policies, we're able to um, one sec. Let's see if I can, create those specific compliances or configuration profiles wherever needed for the specific platform and devices that we have. Again, this is just to kind of show you, the where the enterprise context comes from. So when we're dealing with personal versus work profile, and then we also look at the command lines and where the command lines work. So, looking at the specific command lines for the running the running details, right? We'll also show you and it'll tell you where we're locating the specific stuff, right? So um, again, we have it disabled, right? So when we are talking about the advantages and disadvantages of that, so we need to ensure the differences between where we get the enterprise context as to where I showed you, and then the command line uh, for that specific uh, running application or service, right? And we also have our services and whatnot. But again, I just wanted to show you this because this is an important feature, um, enterprise context, especially when you're dealing with uh, personal versus work profiles, right? Um, so looking back at our WDAG account, utility account, um, you know, running applications, browsing. Oh yeah, performance loss, right? So you get the performance loss, and we talk about task manager, right, and different columns, right? We talk about that too, and um, that's sort of where we can tell, and then we have our performance monitor, monitor performance monitor tools within our Windows 10 and 11 environments, right? To check out how those running applications and then those browsing internet tabs are open. So again, in the task manager, as you can see, I showed you, you have your specific tabs for your specific processes, right? And including your background processes, and you also have your Windows processes that are running locally. So we also talk about compatibility issues. Some applications or websites may not function smoothly. in an isolated environment. So that might result in compatibility issues, right? So compatibility issues with specific apps that function in Chrome or Edge, right? What are those two compatibility apps, right? A specific app doesn't work in Edge, but it works in Chrome, or it doesn't work in Chrome, but it works in Firefox. Example like that, right? Based on the UI experience. So, and logging into that specific cloud instance. So when we also talk about compatibility issues, we also talk about complexity, right? So we're introducing an additional layer of security, especially through that account, and that account could increase the complexity of a system, especially for users who are not familiar with how isolated environments work, right? So understanding the familiarity of how the isolated environment works is a plus for you to grasp, especially when you're looking when you're introducing that additional layer of security through that account, right? Um, so let's go back to our slides here, and then on not only complexity, we're also looking at administrative effort. So administrating and maintaining the WDAG and that account may require additional effort to ensure that they're properly configured and updated. So again, overall, that account provides an important layer of security for Windows users, right? So that's very important. But it is important to weigh the potentials and advantages, sort of what I showed you, and to decide whether they are suitable for your individual needs or priorities. So again, work with your team, your teams, to get some more insight and learn that. And if asked in an interview, why not? You learned it, you know what, you can put that on your resume, and good luck, and hope it goes well for you, right? So we're gonna start talking about our lab, and here's a picture of program manager. So there are a lot of program managers, not the program managers you hear at the job title program managers that are responsible for specific types of programs and whatnot. But this was also part of our um, program manager is also known as our file explorer, right? Right. So we now have our file explorer, so similar to our program manager, and been evolved. It's been evolved in the specific you know years of you know the evolution of it. But again, these are the specific main applications that we had um, within that, right? And it's all accessible now uh, through different avenues. And you know, we also have our accessories, right? And we have our ease of access use, whatever Windows system apps, right? So similar to our programs, we have our systems apps as well. We have our administrative tools. We have our task manager. We have our file explorer. So again, not program manager that you're thinking about, but it is a management window where it manages the main applications like your file manager, like your PIF editor, your Windows setup, your config panel. Again, it's all located here in your start menu at the bottom of the scroll bar, all the way here in this little area here, right? So understand that Memestos is no longer exists. So again, it's no longer there. Clipboard viewer. I think we still have clipboard, clipboard. We're now again clipboard. Obviously, it's now we have our system settings, clipboard settings. So that's still introduced. Um, right, snipping tool, free tool, great tool. Um, So let's start our lab. Let's change the Windows Defender application guard setting. And again, we can access the settings, and I'll put this side to side so that we can contemplate on what we're doing here. And I will definitely make this a little bit bigger for you guys so you guys can see that. Okay, so we can access these settings in a Windows 10 or Pro and Enterprise by pressing the Windows key. So we're going to press the Windows key and then click on the Windows X key. So Windows X, and then we're going to open up the computer management screen. And we can right click computer management. So close that. Okay, so we don't need that anymore. I can close that window, but again, okay, so in computer management, we're going to expand the system tools, right? We're going to expand the system tools. We're going to expand the system tools. We're going to expand local users and groups. And then we're going to expand on the users tab. And on the right pane, or mid column, well, let's say mid column, right pane, mid column, say mid pane, mid pane, or mid column, right? Or pane. We're going to locate and double click on this account here. Right? So this is our account. And then that's where the properties lay for that account, right? And again, we have a general or profile. We're not going to touch it in our memberships. And again, we can do whatever we want on our own time, right? But we're going to just follow along. So again, if I don't click, you don't click. Remember that. That way, you're following along and you're not making any changes, or you're snooping around different options. We shouldn't be snooping around. So again, we will need to open program and features, right? And then again, here it is. It's disabled, right? So we want to enable it, but again, we need to enable or disable this, right? But how do we do that? Okay, how do we do that? So we need to open Windows S, right? And then turn on the Windows search, right? Or we can go to the and then turn on Windows turn on Windows features on or off. So we're going to click on that. Again, alternate options is through control panel. All control panel items, programs, and features. It's on the left-hand side. If you guys want to take a look at that as well too. So we're going to open up that feature. We're going to view columns, and we're going to go down to programs and features. But I think they changed.
Always scan this section.
Programs and features. And then we're going to locate it here on the left. So turn Windows features on or off. So I just double click on that and work on it. So if you scroll down, you'll see the Microsoft Defender application guard disabled. Okay, so let's enable it. And then we're going to hit OK. And we're going to install that together. Again, do not click or go ahead of yourself. So again, we're going to scroll down through the features and check the box next to the thing, and then that's going to search for the required files and install it. Now we might need to. It'll take a minute to apply the changes, but we'll offer a reboot now, so we don't restart to restart at your convenience. We'll just restart, you know, after. Well, actually, we should restart because to use the Windows Defender Guard in private with Microsoft Edge, we need to open up the 3 dot settings, and then we'll see the new private Windows, and you'll see it option. You'll see a bright red tab on the top left, and as well as a red line across the top line of your browser. So we'll close the browser at any time to end the session, and then we'll return to Edge, and then we'll or our favorite browsers, right? So in this point, we're not going to restart. Okay. Because I still want to explain things, but again, we can test it without restarting. We will test it. And again, if we open up uh, we open up Microsoft Edge now, right? Oh, we gotta close that, but we'll need to press on the 3 dots. And then you'll notice once we restart, we'll have it around this area here. You'll notice a red tab here, and that's what we'll see. So let's restart, and we'll come back. I'll restart the machine right now. I'm just going to restart the machine, and we'll come back to this part here. I'm just going to close everything. I don't need this right now. I don't need this right now. Okay, so I'm going to save this as a favorites. Save. Okay, and then I'm also going to save this as a favorites, which is my portal. Portal. Favorites. So I'm going to close that now, and I'm going to start. I click and reset the machine. So um, again, we're going to wait till this finishes, and then we're going to test it. And then we're also going to talk about disabling, uh, deleting or renaming the WGA account. Again, while we wait, we could talk about that. Again, it's just a special managed account. We don't recommend that you rename it or delete it using your administrator account. That's important. Okay. We do not recommend. All right. Again, it's only found in Windows 10 and 11. It's a security feature of the Windows 10 or later version. So again, since this account is managed automatically by the system or device and plays an important role in isolating the potentially dangerous applications or websites. So it's not advisable to simply delete or deactivate it. So deleting or deactivating that account can affect the functionality of the WDAG and potentially compromise the security of the system. So it's therefore recommended that you don't edit the WDAG utility account manually unless you're an experienced system man and clearly understand the impact on the system and security and stability. So very, very, very important. I didn't turn off the features. Okay, that's fine. I didn't want to manage those features, but it's okay. This is just a work group account. A work group, it's not domain joined. And we're not worried about that for this instance here. It's just my lab machine. So, you know, we're going to disable. So how do I disable that? So again, we are going to disable it. I'm going to show you due to two different types on how to disable the account. Typically, we would disable it through command prompt as an administrator, and then we would type this in, right? Right? But if you're an administrator, you should be able to do it through the GUI way. And this will just deactivate the account, right? We're not going to disable it. We want to make sure we're enabling it, right? Um, so don't delete it, disable it. Very important. Okay. Okay, so we're back in. All right, let's shuffle. So let's open up the. You guys give me a sec. Okay, so we're gonna reopen our Google Chrome. And here's our new application guard window. Right, and we're gonna install that Defender application guard, which will prevent our device from malware and Microsoft Edge from opening the application guard. So very, 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 very important feature to install the application guard on Microsoft Windows Defender. So again, this might take a moment. So again, you'll go into the three dots, right? And you'll see it here, or you could just press the Shift Q, and then that'll be our window. Okay, right, and then you'll see a black circle there. So that's our um, application guard defense for Microsoft Edge, and that's it. It's pretty straightforward. We can browse, Microsoft.com. I can open up my, and you'll note that the device itself, you'll see a black circle there. All right, you'll see that black circle, that icon there, and it distinguishes from work and personal also. So you'll understand what that does. And again, you can sign into your devices if you want. Sign in with your work or school account, right? And we can set up our work or schoolers account um, system here, system. And if I want to, I'll show you guys how to do that. All right. And just a little bit bigger. And again, we can sign in with our profiles here if we'd like to, and add our specific profiles for that worker school. And we also have our, again, because we're Intune based, we can, go to the settings, right? We can go to accounts, right? And then I can go to my Access Worker School, right? And then we can connect this device to Azure as well too. So we can sign up with that, or join this device to a Microsoft Entra ID, or join this device to a local Active Directory, right? So I can sign, again, I can do whatever I want. It's up to you. All I need to do is put my work or school address. So for example, I want this machine to be assigned to me, right? Again, you'll have to watch videos on how to create this. I have videos on how to create a Microsoft account. Again, if there's any questions, please feel free to message me. Right? Again, your account's going to be different. You're going to name it what you want. Do not name it what I'm naming it. You're going to give it your name and purchase your domain if you want. Again, that's totally up to you and your plans or your work plans. .com. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and click next, and I'm going to sign in and hit enter, and then that'll prompt me for my MFA. Perfect. So I'm going to uh, open up the MFA application on my device, and I'm going to open up the um, type in that number, say yes. Okay. Since my device is managed through here, this will technically approve the sign-in request for MFA. So if you don't have MFA set up, please set it up right now. If you can't use it, then I've also installed a third temporary option for that too as well. But again, it's totally up to you. join this device to enter ID. Oh, okay. Next. Using verification. I can try that as well too. And then I will put in OTP. And if it works, if not, it's probably my license is expired. There you go. So that works. It's joined it to the AD. Okay. And this device is for the department that I want it to be. So for example, this could be the executive department, applications department, or sales or IT. Let's see, IT administration or executive, whatever I want. I set these up, right? So IT, director of IT. So to continue, the system policies might be turned on. Other changes made. Is this the right organization? Yes, it is. Again, the domain is not custom, so it's fine. Just adding a fictitious user to and there we go. Our device is now connected to in production. I'm gonna click done. So this is now managed via Enter ID, right? So, so again, profiles could be that too as well. Again, I can set up the profiles this way. I can close and open it. But like I mentioned before, when I'm opening up the Edge, I can, use the window, right? And that could be managed. And again, I can access my admin portals this way, right? So let's open up admin.microsoft.com, and then I'll log in. And I'm going to click next. And then I'm going to put in a password again. And then I'm going to use this. Text my number. Okay, it's up to you. You can use whatever you want. You can use a key, UB key, which is also better, which is more secure, a Titan key. We can set that up in Azure. So again, it's totally up to you and your company how you want to set it up. If you want, again, this is my, uh, terms of use, private cookies, et cetera, et cetera. If you want to learn more, click on more information. I can bring you to the more informations tab, right? I can open up the tab there. And then I also have access to my company portal. I don't have it installed here physically, but again, I can install company portal how I want. So again, let's go back to that's my profile. Again, like I said, differentiate the two, understand how this works. Make sure there's a black circle, especially when you're logging in through that on a virtual machine, which is also important. That way, you're not you're segregating the privacy. Okay, to change my password. I want to change my password. Show you guys how to change the password. So I'm going to change my global admin password for this one. Um, as you can see, it changed a little bit here. Okay, so I'll just go to identity. Again, this can also be done on the local domain if you want, if it's migrated, but cloud. All users, I'm going to show you how to change your password. Okay. For that user. So we'll use our new password as Sal. My first name, your first name, season, month, and year. So we'll do the month and year, right? So that's our new password. So that'll be our new password. Um, oh, search for that, and we will change our password for the gentleman here. And again, logins should be able to see. Uh, right, who signs in and who doesn't. So user sign in, non-interactive, interactive. Okay, so let's go to the overview, right? And then we're gonna click on the reset password. This may do the correct. So trying to reset your own password. Okay. Okay. Doesn't make sense to me, but okay. I should be able to. Again, typically you'd have a break glass account or two or three break glass accounts um, in case of, if you do decide to change your password again. Um, I'm going to reset the password. Um, all right, so I'm going to reset my password. Again, first name, season, month, or year, or whatever you want. Again, it's totally up to you. This is just a trading class, so we're going to do that. Okay. I'm going to confirm the password. All right. So first name, last name, month, and year. Do that again. Okay. We're going to submit. And I think that should be instant. Yeah. So I'm going to sign out and then sign back in. Should be instant. So we're going to type admin.microsoft.com. And you'll see the icons as well too, which is kind of cool. Um, you'll see that up. So there's also this. Did I add this? Password collection. What is this? Oh, this is our online password reset tools, which I added, so I can, you know, begin by entering the work or school account, right, and then doing that and setting that up, this page up. So again, that's an option that I put. But again, we can manually do that through Admin Center, as we noted, when right. So we can reset the password through Entra ID too, but I think it's because it's not set up, or the user, I don't know, the user might not be set up properly, or just the permissions that wants to do that. But again, I'll uh, I'll just reset the password. It doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you do it, it works, and we're good to go. Yeah. So I've now reset the password, and it should be good. Um, grab my device and enter in the number, right? Okay. And then 1 second here. So make sure the Authenticator app is installed on your device. And then, okay, so we done that. Okay, changed it. Um, so again, understanding the profiles is very, very important. And again, you could set up the work profiles, work or school or personal profiles, and understand the differences between that and how to set that up. And I think I have an error here. Why? Oh, okay, okay. So it looks like it's still recording. Good. So let's go back. Let's go back to our drawing board here, and we will talk about again. We're not going to delete it. We're going to well, you can disable or enable it by the active no to disable and yes to enable, to deactivate, which is what we did. Um, and then if we go back to our uh, again, how do I change my account name? You can navigate to the local users group, double click on that in the properties, update the field name with the desired name. We can name this whatever we want. Right. So that's what I like about that. I'm not going to change it for you, just very straightforward. Local users and groups, double click. So local users and groups is local user mgr.msc. So that's the in command prompt. So that's what you're going to do. Right. So we're going to open up our machine here, our Windows 10 machine, and we're going to locate into portal.microsoft.com. Enter in our username. Click next. And the password we just created. Hit enter. Okay, then approve. Put in our numbers. and that should approve right away, instantly. And we're not going to see that. But again, this is to show you the worker school profiles, but we're not going to do that now. So we don't have any apps. So here's our application. Uh, so we are applications department or whatever we want. It doesn't matter. And do HR next, right? And then, you know, um, the apps. Right? If we add some apps, we can add some apps this way and then assign the devices so we know that this device is compliant. Um, so if we go to intune.microsoft.com, my licenses are still working. We should see that device there, right? And this one's co-management. This is co-managed device because I have co-managed set up. Um, so my co-management is set up. So here's the device that I have here, right? And my VMware serial number, corporate device, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then I have my device compliances, right? And I have my configuration profiles, my app configuration profiles, um, where we can export different app configuration profiles. I can, set the local laps if I want to set the local laps. I'll show you guys how to do that. That's pretty easy. Then we have our managed apps, et cetera, et cetera. So again, if I want to know information about the system. It's all here. This is all it. It's not really, again, similar to MECM. Again, when we have the MECM application, I think I can show you guys. Did I show you guys MECM too? I also have that as well. So MECM, right? Our primary site server. Um, I can turn this on. But anyway, I'm not going to show you that. I'm not going to get too complicated. I want to stick to the WDA account. So again, local users managers account, the command prompt. So we can, use these different commands to activate it and disactivate it. So I'll show you guys how to do that. Um, Here. So I'm going to minimize that, and I will minimize that, and I want to um, oh yeah, okay, all right, there we go. Oh yeah, local users and groups, and so if we go here, go to command prompt, right, and then we're going to type in local users manager.msc. So this will open up our MSC, and again, users, and then we can again set a password here, right? Which is what we'll do. I want to test it. So I'm going to set our class password, right? First name, season, month, and year. Right? And occur. Okay. Okay, so that password's been set. So I set a password. I'm going to activate it, and I want to log in. I want to log in. So I'm going to activate it with this right here. So I'm going to use the net active yes to activate it. Okay, and then click. Oh, so I'm just going to type in net user, right? And then we're going to go net user, the name of the account, right? So I'm going to type in the name of the account fully, G, WDAG utility, and then account, right? And then press and press active, and then click yes. Active, right? And then click colon yes, and that'll activate my account. Did something go wrong here? Did I spell it wrong? Access is denied. Why is access denied? So, um, so, okay. Looks like it's been okay. Oh, so sorry. This has to be done in command prompt elevated. So we're going to open up command prompt again, right click, run as admin, and we're going to right click here, and we're going to locate the device, right? Or we can just go to properties and click this for now, apply, right? And then hit OK. So that'll open up the account. I set the password. I'm going to log out and log back in with the new password. So I'm going to write this down so I don't forget. Okay. Right. And I'm going to, again, command prompt, not user, right? WDAG utility account, right? Active, and then no, we'll disable that, and then yes, and you'll see that if we refresh it, refresh, right, they'll disable it. And then if we enable it again, we just type yes, and that should also work too. And then refresh, right, the users, right, so refresh, right, and that'll open. Okay, so let's log out and log back in now. Run, disable. Again, I can rename this whatever I want, right? So that'd be a good account to use if you want to. How do I change the AWAG again? Local users and groups, like I showed you. You know, you type in Windows X, computer management, um, right? We go to local users and groups, right? And we can properties, and we can give it a full name, change the full name to whatever I want. So this will be WAG admin, right? If I want to, WDAG admin, right? So that's my WDG, and then and then this password will never expire because it's a service account, or we can just change it for the first time. But again, you guys need to know how to deal with that. And then we can add the specific memberships that we want, right? And again, I showed you guys how to do that. We go to control passwords too. Again, user passwords too. Right. But again, this isn't important. It's just an extra step. You guys kind of get the drift. I'm not going to show you. Okay. Not important right now. But again, you could do that. So WDAG admin, apply, hit OK. Right. And then log out. So we're going to sign out. And we are going to log back in with the new user and create a user profile account with him. Again, it's a very secure account. Uh, again, know what the permissions that it has. Now you know what it does and what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to do it. But we're going to do a control delete so we can change the user here. Let's log in here. Let's do this. I'm going to do the control delete to change switch user. Switch user. Okay. Okay, so let's reboot the system then. Does not allow me to change use. I need to add the control delete. Okay, so Um, let me add the control delete. We'll talk about adding the control delete user passwords here. So control plus alt plus delete, right? We'll talk about control user passwords. That's what I needed it for. User passwords. Um, let's add it. Let's add it. Okay. And then renaming WDAG utility account name and give it a password, class password, right? So it would be first name, um, season, month, and month and year, right? So MMYYY format, right? Right. All together, all one word, right? So that would be, your first name, Sal, and then the season would be spring, right? Or fall or whatever. And then month is October 2024. Okay. So let's log in um as the admin. So he's an admin, right? A little bigger here. Okay, so we're almost done. All right. So as he comes in, I need to enable uh control delete. So control passwords to should work now. And then I have to go to the advanced and I'm going to require this to press control delete each time. So I'm going to apply that. I think that's it for now. So I'm going to apply the secure sign-in and then hit OK. And I'm going to sign out, right? And then hit the control delete and then other user. And I'm going to type in WDAG admin and then our password. And then hit, oh, WDAG admin. I think that should be okay. WDAG admin. This is incorrect. What do you mean? Okay. Okay. Oh, I didn't rename it. Yeah, I did. No, I didn't rename it. Oh my God. I didn't rename it. I just gave it a name. Properties. Um, did not rename it. Um, rename here. I'm sorry. WDAG admin. So rename it. Copy this. Right. Put this in your notepad. Um, right. Right. So that's good. Um, right? So that should be good to go and hit a refresh, 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 right? Close. Close to that. All right, then hit apply. Um, so that's good. Let's refresh. Sorry, you had to rename it. Apologies, I renamed the wrong. I gave it the full name instead. That's why it didn't work. So I'm going to sign out or shut it down. Sign out or stop. Sign out. Not shut down. Sign out. And then hit the Control Delete button here at the top. Other user, and this would be WDAG admin, and then my password, and then hit enter. What do you mean? What do you mean? What's the issue? J. What's the issue? Okay, let's try this again. Password never expires. I'm going to um, oh, what just happened here? You know what? Let's set the password again. Resetting the password. That's fine. All right, so that is password. I'm trying to see if we can log in. I apologize, guys. I'm just gonna try here to sign out. This should work. I'm sure why it's not making me log in. Uh, okay, let me restart the guest. Just restart it. But you guys kind of get the concept here. Again, you know, uh, just make sure you know how to enable disable. Um, right. So that user and then the username, right? In that case, it would be the WDGID username, then active, then slash yes, so that would activate it. And then we did. I guess this is just more of a service account. I'm trying to log into it to see if I can create a profile. This is the first time I've actually tried to um, approach this scenario and see. So I don't know how it's going to work. So I'm going through some different scenario and options, and hopefully that'll work for what I wanted to do. Right. Right. So if it works, then we're good. Then we'll avoid it. Yeah. So it looks like it doesn't want you to log in. Um, right. So we can do utility account, right? And then again, I'm not sure why it's not letting me do that. So, okay, this is weird. So let me troubleshoot this, guys, some more and see what happens here. Um, really weird. So, um, let's try to again. Let's use the feature. That way we know we're using this feature. Great feature. Um, right. And obviously you're going to sign in with your work or school account. Um, but again, you can also use this um, for that security purposes. So I renamed the WDAG utility account and gave it a password, but cannot log into it as a profile. All right, so even if we go system dn.cpl, enter, I think it is a Sandbox account, so again, I know it's a Sandbox account, so um, curious as to why it's doing that. It does not let me. Oh, it's saying it. Oh, okay, so okay, I'm sorry. My apologies, guys. I totally forgot. I even explained this to you guys already. So again, um, you can safely surf the web session. That's all we can do. That's all we can do. So for you tech gurus out there, it's called in private. We've got multiple built-in system accounts, and again, one of them is that, but I think it's just more for that specific reason, and it has those specific permissions. Um, again, I don't think it's feasible to log into it. I would not want to do that. Um, again, it's just provides an extra layer for the Windows user that probably has the specific delegations, that specific delegation for that. So I don't want to log into it. My apologies, guys. Um, I should have remembered me telling you that. So I don't want to log into that account. This is just disable, enable it. So again, we're going to disable, enable it for that specific reason so that we can use Microsoft Edge. Um, again, pretty straightforward. We can change the name to mask it or hide it, but that's about it, right? I don't want to do anything else. We can rename. Like I said, rename it and give it a new name. and we can give using the class passwords. Right. So first name, season, month, and year format. So I did rename it, which is okay. That's okay. You can rename it if you want. But I would not want to log. I don't think it's used for logging in. So our next topic is um, our next topic is application guard for office admins, right? And what is that? You can enable this optional feature also through PowerShell, and you can create OMA URIs in Intune. You can create those OMA URIs um, with this command, and you can allow that, right, with the specific integers. And I will show you guys, I'll show you, but I'll guide you to that. Uh, right, to that option. So right now we are in the managed by organization and we're in application guard. So especially if we're opening a high intense application, um, we can use that. And again, your admin does not allow you to copy and paste between application guard and other apps. So that's also a great feature that's available in Intune. So we'll have to type it in instead. So we'll have to look for Defender Office 365. Copy. It's fine. Notepad. Open. That's good. That's a good thing. So disable the copying and pasting. So we'll have to open this here. Okay, so we'll have to type in Defender Office 365. Defender Office 365. Okay. And we talked about the app guard for Office, app guard for Office, app guard. Okay, here we go. So here's the app guard for Office for admins. Again, it's just it's being deprecated and not being updated. But again, this was a great feature that was used for the Defender application guard. We recommend transitioning to the Defender for endpoint attack surface reduction rules, along with and this is also important too in Windows Defender application control. So this helps, again, this helps prevent trusted files from accessing trusted resources and keeping your enterprise safe and new and emerging tasks. Again, these are the requirements of licensing. So ensure that you have the licensing. You can also read up on safe documents, right? And how that works. Right? It's good to learn, right? And then again, if you were to open up the security and go directly to the safe attach page, right, and open this in a new tab, again, we should go ahead and, you know, assign the permissions before we can do any of the procedures and follow the documentation hands-on. So again, you guys might have to read this stuff and take a look at that, how to do that. Um, Again, sign into my security page if I want to. Right. And then I'm going to put in my password. Again, the password I changed to, hit enter. Again, you guys are going to create your own accounts. And I created a video on how to do that. Hit enter to say no thanks. I'm going to use this method. I like this method. Click no. So again, all this stuff is in the security and compliance. So things did move around. Um, that's sad. But again, you can use the Microsoft Defender portal to configure safe documents, right? In the email and collaborations section, right? Um, and so we go here, uh, side to side here. So yeah, so we would go to email and collaborations. Then we would go to for safe documents again. After we'd go to policies and rules here at the bottom. Again, make sure you have the right accounts for this and the right permissions. Then we would go to threat policies, right? And then we would go to our safe attachments here, our policies. And we will and go directly to the safe, and then we will either use this, right, as a right, or we can select the global settings and then or use the built-in protection and make changes to that. Again, uh, we're going to close that. Um, I'm sorry, what did I do? Sorry about that, guys. So threat policies, I'm going to safe attachments, and then I am going to global settings, right? And then I'm turning on the Defender for Office 365, right? And then I am allowing um, turn on safe documents. Okay, and then I'm save that. And I'm also going to, sorry, I'm going to go to this global settings, and I'm going to allow people to click through the protective view, even if the safe documents identify the file. So allow people to click through protective view, even if the safe documents, uh, we recommend it off. So we're going to recommend that off, okay? And then we're going to click yes. So once you're finished the layout, we're going to select save. Here's my save. No save. Okay. And then when we're finished, so that looks like that. When we're finished in the global settings, fly out, then we'll select save. But I do not see the save. Did I? I may have saved it already, but that's fine. Um, yeah, so there's a save button. So that's good. And again, that's it for now. I'm just to kind of show you what that is. And again, we could configure individual access through graph APIs and whatnot. Um, Great option. This is how Microsoft handles the data. Um, so we can use the Microsoft Defender portal to configure safe documents, right? And our safe attachments version 2. Um, what else did we talk about? Let's make this a little bit bigger. So requirements are there. These are the minimum requirements. I stated that could be 8 GB of RAM or 10 GB of minimum space. Your software requirements, and then how to enable and enable guard for Office. So ensure that our knowledge base is installed. If it isn't, install it. Right. And you can read up on that, and then you can go to MUS, Microsoft Update Catalog, and then search for that. So in the Microsoft Update Catalog, right, safe uh, documents we talked about. We also talked about setting changes, right? We're talking about safe documents. We're going to talk about, let's talk about um, the Microsoft catalog. So we're going to use follow the requirements. So we're going to follow those requirements. So we're going to, let's talk about the requirements, right? And then I'll post requirements. And then I'll post the link for that. So I'll take a link of that and then the knowledge base. So that needs to be installed. I can't copy and paste, but you kind of get the drift. So this I'll have to kind of give you guys the later. I'll have to give you guys that information in the documentation, but right, we'll have to. Yeah, see, it won't allow you to copy and paste. That's normal. Nothing new here. But it's doing its job, which is what we want. And I think I also explained to you in the task manager if the policies are um, set correctly, if I'm not mistaken. If they work, then we um, should be able to add two columns that I want: operating system, context, and enterprise. Right. This will tell us what profile we're logged in. If it's a work or school. And usually when you're saving it too, it'll give you the option to save it with WIP, WIP. And that's also an Intune. I think they're deprecating that. And then I also wanted you guys to know how to use um, command line. And then okay. Enterprise context. Again, enterprise context. I don't know if I set it up, but man, this is all through Intune, and this is something. This I think it's another topic. It's something that we can talk about, but it has to do with the copying and pasting as well. So even if we were to go to, let's say, see if I can copy from here to here. Should have used. Um, I should have used. Yeah, that's okay. Well, I'll give you guys that information. Not a problem. Let's move on. Um, so I'll give you guys that information in terms of the requirements for application guard, right? And I guess that's about it. So there are some known issues that I've found throughout my um, tenure, and I actually worked with. And again, Microsoft documentation will detail all this stuff. So when we're logging into this, right? Obviously, it's not going to work. I'll have to copy this into here, paste. Right. Well, that's good documentation for you to use. Um, then we talk about obviously Defender for Office 365. So if we were able to deploy, again, you can follow along here and try Office 365 licensing for that. And follow along there. So WDA account, that's how we create it. Again, pretty straightforward. You don't want to log into it. You can enable or disable, do not delete it. Use the option. It's great. We talked about safe attachments, right? And how that works. And that's been migrated over to Defender. Uh, again, you know, there are some known issues. There are some known issues, and again, you can enable this feature within PowerShell or through Intune, OMA URIs. There's an OMA URI for that as well too. I'll send that all to you guys in the notes. Again, let me zoom in here. So Microsoft details a few options, and again, this is a common known issues that you've seen here. So the setting for the unsupported types of protection policies to block the opening untrusted, unsupported file types that are encrypted and have the information rights management set. So this setting includes files that are encrypted by using sensitive labels from Microsoft Purview Information Protection. HTML files are not supported at this time with App Protection Guard. If you see an error, um, doesn't work with the NTFS compressed volumes, you'll see error virtual disk, try uncompressing the volume. These are known issues. If you see the error mentioning that your hypervisor might not be enabled, again, if you do see that, uh, virtualization must be enabled. I showed you guys how to do that. Turn Hyper-V on, and the host network service is also running. Updates to .NET framework might cause files to fail, so you can resolve this by restarting the machine. Um, App Guard requires virtual machines to be granted the log on service permission, right? Log on as a service, right? And must not be added to the deny log on as a service security policy setting. Okay, very, 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 very important. Um, and that's all done through AD. So we can grant those, right? That's important. I don't have any documentation, but I'll send you over some documentation um, if you guys would want to learn a little bit about that. So I guess that's it, guys. Thanks again very much. I appreciate it. It's your systems architect here, Sal Cosentino, talking about WDAG. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to message me on WhatsApp or email me. The information is in the description below. Thank you very much again. Add yourself to the WhatsApp channel if you have any questions or comments. Please add yourself to the WhatsApp channel. It's also in the description. Um, and I will add you. Please state your name, who you are, what video you found me in, what the question is. If you have a picture of the issue, please add that, or a video of what you're doing, please add that as well. It'll help us as well too in the chat and whoever's helping you with that problem. Thank you very much again, guys. Have a great rest of your day, and thanks for joining.